all the waves in the world, Ponta Preta is one of the greatest. It boasts perfectly peeling right-handers that curl around the rocky point. Steady breezes make it a kite-surfing paradise. That's why we, on the Qatar Airways GKA World Tour, are delighted to return to this idyllic spot on the Cape Verde island of Sal for a mouth-watering season opener.
Well, Ponta is one of the world-class waves we have for kitesurfing and even surfing. It's an amazing right-handed wave, pretty long, so we're definitely here for solid waves. And we have a good swell coming, so we're pretty happy about that.
The GKA Kite-Surf World Cup Cape Verde is a pure wave contest. The competition is focused on intense kitesurfing action on Ponta Preta's hollow and challenging waves. The promise of world-class waves attracted the cream of the kitesurfing crop, each primed for battle. World champions James Carew and 16-year-old Capucine Delanoy are keen to get off to a good start. They're looking to defend their crowns at this first event ahead of scheduled stops in Brazil and Morocco later in the year. But Cape Verde legends Mitu Monteiro and Matchu Lopes and Airton Cozzolino may have other ideas. They call Ponta Preta home and will putting all their vast experience of the wave to full use. Home advantage and support from adoring fans could be a telling factor as the drama plays out on the water.
I think like all the locals, also like the people spend time here, they have a lot of advantage because this wave is not so easy, the wind direction, but this week I think we're gonna have some side shore wind and everyone gonna be in comfort zone, we can say like that. So, but the nature, we never know. I think we're gonna have some really nice show here and you're gonna have some new generation coming and you're gonna put some nice show on as well.
Day one of the contest opened with the women. Muna White won the competition here in 2019 in epic conditions. She opened her account with a bomb, scoring an 8-point wave as the conditions picked up. White didn't let up. The Hawaiian rider read the point break perfectly and rode with commitment and verticality that the judges loved, earning her the best wave score of the day, a 9.23, and the highest heat total of 16.83. Cape Verde favourite 14-year-old Julia Silva showed no fear against the top contenders and brought the crowd to their feet. Current world champion Capucine Delanoy went toe-to-toe with some of the biggest sets of the day. She laid down some solid scores with her fluid, linked turns that saw Delanoy and the remaining riders advance to the quarterfinals. Brazil's Kessiane Rodrigues began the competition on a high after winning the final event of last season in Taiba. She moved through the gears with some stylish and powerful turns. The men took to the water as the sun began to dip. Cape Verdean legend Mitu Monteiro came out of retirement to join the party. Just shy of his 40th birthday, he showed all his experience at Ponta Preta with a 7.67 ride. Another Cape Verde local, Henrik Lopes, also wowed ecstatic home fans. He attacked the waves with ferocity, but he also linked his turns with plenty of flow, power and drive. The best, however, was saved for last. Airton Cozzolino led the heat with pounding hacks and an air 360. Matchu Lopes answered back with commitment. He began riding backside, hitting it vertically and floating over the foam sections. but he switched to frontside halfway through and snapped turn after turn, taking the win in the final heat of the day. On the second day of action, we moved through the men's heat. Once again, the conditions here in Ponta Preta delivered huge set waves and building breezes. They were perfect for the world-class riders battling in Cape Verde. The level of the world's greatest kite surfers was so high that many of the heats would have been worthy of a final. It was the threat of elimination that kept pushing the incredible level of riding even higher. France's Clément Rosero pushed Airton Cozzolino to the limit as they battled. The Frenchman riding backside led for most of the amazing duel, but Cozzolino won with a wave that scored 8.13 right on the buzzer.
It was best hit of my life for sure against Airton, and I almost didn't fail this one. Make super good turns, and I hope one time they're gonna love the backside here.
Brazil's Pedro Matos sent local favourite Henrik Lopes home. Both riders threw down breathtaking performances, but it was Matos' score of 9.27 for one wave, one of the highest of the day, that was enough to give him the win. Lopes was gutted.
Well, I'm a bit bummed to go out against Pedro, but he's doing a really great job, training a lot. But I'm really stoked to be here at home competing for the first time. It was not really my day, a bit overpowered on the 9, but it is how it is. Next year I'm gonna come back stronger.
Another local hero, Matchu Lopes, had to pull out all the stops to beat Charlie Martin. The young Reunion Island rider traded blows with Lopes, but a stunning 9-point wave from Lopes was enough to end Martin's dreams. In front of home fans crowding the beach, Mitu Monteiro launched his own assault. 2 incredible wave scores took his heat total to 18.04. That was enough to end the run of his friend and countryman, Titik Lopes. Brazil's Sebastian Ribeiro was ruthless in his heat against Yaris Del Olmo. 2 wave scores that took him to 16.8 put the Italian out of the competition.
So just out of the water, the wind's still a little light, but the waves are just awesome, man. It's the best waves I saw out here, and just glad I made my hit. Got 2 good ones, and yeah, let's go for the next one.
It was another full day of action into the night. Ponta Preta delivered 2 for 2 and is not letting up. The highlight of the day had to be the final heat, Airton Cozzolino going up against James Carew. Both these guys have been world champions, and they know only too well how to perform under pressure. The heat started gently, but Cozzolino took an early lead. Then, halfway through, Carew caught up and the beach started to get the vibe. Cozzolino, the local here, had the crowd going wild. They went move for move, and it came down to the final waves. Then, as they arrived on the beach, it was silent. The judges were still reviewing scores. It took a solid 5 minutes, and hearts were pounding. No one knew which way it went, but in the end, getting the win, it was Airton Cozzolino, and the beach exploded in perfect traditional Cape Verde style. But it's still only the quarterfinals. Cape Verde has more to offer.
It's a salty feeling. It's not the result I wanted, you know. But in the end, it was a good fight. It's always a pleasure to compete with Airton. You know, he's a beast, and it was not going to be an easy heat. Yeah, it was down to the wire. I needed that score in the end, and just came short. So, yeah, it's disappointing. I am very disappointed. But you know, it's on to the next one. There's a lot more events this year. Still want to win. I'm still aiming for that 3rd world title. There's no doubt in my mind I can get it. And yeah, on to the next event in Rio. Gonna be ready, head down and see you there.
The 3rd day was the business end of the competition. The breeze was a little lighter than the opening days, and the set waves were few and far between, but Ponta Preta still delivered some great rides. It is the perfect playground for the world's best kite surfers. We advanced through the quarter-final rounds, and in the men's heats, there were some big-name casualties. Canadian Reese Myerscough struggled to find good waves and was sent packing by Airton Cozzolino.
Well, the waves were so small, and I got this little insider, and I thought it's just gonna close out on the reef, so I might as well try it air. And I got the rotation around, but I just landed right on top of the rocks, and like I didn't want to. I'm surprised I didn't break my board, honestly. It was crazy, so shallow. Anyways, Airton got his, I think. He landed his air, and then that was that.
Sebastian Ribeiro was even more unlucky. He came up against Cape Verde local Mitu Monteiro. The Brazilian gave a good account of himself on the available waves, but Monteiro ended his run. Muna White and Brazil's Kessiane Rodrigues went head-to-head in the first women's semi-final, but the American got the better of the battle with stylish hacks in the critical section of the waves.
Pretty challenging out there with the small waves. There's not that many sets coming through and it's close to the rocks, but wind is good direction, so I'm soaked.
Brazil's Bruna Caggia found herself on the wrong end of a tight battle with the title holder, Capucine Delanoy. But both women worked the few waves that were on offer as best they could.
It was fun. Conditions were kind of hard. Like it was super tricky to take waves and to go upwind, but in the waves it was super fun. I think I advanced it, I'm not sure, but I think so, so super happy.
The first men's semi-final was a torrid affair. Brazil's Pedro Matos attacked the waves with real menace, smacking the lip as he worked every set. But he found himself up against Matchu Lopes, and the young Cape Verdean came out on top, to the delight of the crowds. The scrap between Ponta Preta locals Airton Cozzolino and Mitu Monteiro could have been the final on any other day. The action would certainly have been a worthy show. It was such a tight battle, but Monteiro just got his nose in front with a small barrel 2 minutes from the end of the heat, and Cozzolino was ejected. Three-time kite freestyle world champion Bruna Caggia came up against fellow Brazilian Kessiane Rodrigues in the small final. The race for the third podium spot, it was Rodrigues who got the upper hand in the tough encounter. But Caggia, a newcomer to kite-surf competition, was thrilled with her fourth place finish.
Eu tô muito feliz com o
I'm so
resultado.
happy with
Eu
my
acabei de
result.
começar nas ondas e ainda
I've only
tô
just started riding
fazendo
waves and
switch,
I'm
né,
riding
que não é o meu
switch on
lado
these waves,
certo.
which is not my
Então,
best
ter esse
side.
resultado
So
aqui
this
pra mim é
result
muito
is
especial.
very special
Eu
for
amo
me.
as ondas
I love
demais,
the
eu me
waves.
divirto
I've had
demais.
so much
E
fun.
poder surfar
And to
num
be able
lugar
to
como
surf a
Ponta
spot like
Preta,
Ponta
com
Preta
só
with just
outra
one other
pessoa,
person
éramos
out
duas na
there,
água,
it's
pra
really
mim foi
special.
muito especial.
Rodrigues' fully committed riding showed why she had exploded onto the kitesurf scene last year, taking her first win on home waters in Taiba. The power she displayed on the wave earned her the third podium spot.
Nossa, eu tô muito contente de estar
I'm
aqui
so
em
happy
Ponta
to be
Preta
here
pela
at
primeira
Ponta
vez.
Preta for the
As
first time.
condições incríveis,
Incredible
altas
conditions,
ondas, o vento também
amazing
animal.
waves,
Primeira
and the
vez
wind
que
was
eu pego
great.
condições grandes assim.
It's the first
Tô
time that
muito
I've been
feliz
in
pelo meu
conditions this
resultado,
big,
minha
so
evolução
I'm
também.
very happy about my
E
result
creio
and my
que Ponta Preta
progress.
foi dos meus
I think Ponta
melhores
Preta is
picos
one
que
of
eu
the
já tive
best
toda a
spots
minha
I've
vida, que
ever
eu já
surfed in my
surfei.
life.
E é isso,
I
eu
came
vim
here
confiante,
very
treinei
confident,
dia só
and
e
I only had one day
foi
to train
dia
before the
bem
contest. But
bem legal
it
para
was a
mim,
pretty good
consegui me
day,
dar bem
and
aí com
I
o
managed
vento
to
offshore.
adapt to the
Normalmente no
offshore
Brasil o
wind
vento
because the wind in Brazil
bimaral, né,
is
onshore.
normally onshore.
Então estou muito feliz
But
pelo
I'm very
resultado
happy
e
with my
espero que
result
nas próximas
and
eu
hoping
tenha
to reach
mais
even
ainda,
further in the
chegar bem
events to
mais ainda
come.
onde que eu quero chegar.
In the women's final, Muna White came in hot. She went toe-to-toe with Capucine Delanoy from the start, and both riders worked the waves ferociously. They each took big risks, flirting with Ponta Preta's rocky shallows more than once.
Yeah, it was a really good competition. We got really good conditions. I'm really happy about my riding. I felt like I was improving through the competition, and being in the final against Muna is something I've always dreamed of. She is one of my biggest inspirations, so it was really nice to be in the final with her. Of course, it's always a little heartbreaking to lose, but Muna was definitely deserving this win, so I'm happy for her.
Hawaii-based White had taken the win here in 2019, and she showed once again that she'd lost none of her grace or flair on this right-hander that she prizes above all else. When the Ponta Preta stop was announced, she knew she had to return again to fight for glory on this wave. Her powerful and committed riding in the pocket put her in a league of her own. She is still very much top of the class here in Cape Verde.
The waves here are pretty similar to my home in Hawaii. It's have a lot of right-handers and a lot of power, just like Ponta Preta. So definitely helps to come from that background. And yeah, just been slowly making my way through heats this event. And unfortunately, the waves got smaller and smaller as it went on, but still managed to make it through. So super stoked.
In the race for the third podium spot, Brazil's Pedro Matos gave it everything he had. He and rival Airton Cozzolino lucked into the biggest sets of the day in the sinking sun. Matos was relentless, slaying every wave as if his life depended on it. He rode with bags of commitment, throwing airs to complement those huge hacks.
Eu tava velejando bem o campeonato
I
inteiro,
surfed well all
fazendo
competition
notas
long,
boas,
getting good
tinha altas
scores.
ondas.
There were amazing
Infelizmente,
waves,
a gente depende da
but we depend on the
infelizmente
timing
também,
of
né?
nature
Mas,
to score a
às
good
vezes, a
wave,
gente
and
depende da natureza
sometimes it
pra
doesn't
fazer
come
uma
your
nota
way,
boa
so
e não vem
there's
onda.
nothing I can do.
E não tem o que fazer.
And that's it, I have to
E é
accept
isso.
it, go back home
Aceitar e
and
ir
train
pra
for the next
casa
stop
e
in
treinar
Rio de
pra
Janeiro.
próxima etapa que é no Rio.
But Matos had the misfortune to come up against Airton Cozzolino. His semi-final defeat seemed to only put more fire in his belly. Cozzolino charged every wave and threw down like there was no tomorrow. He netted a 9.67 wave that took his heat score to 18.87, the highest of the competition. His airs and a barrel brought roars of delight from the swelling crowds on the beach. It was pure, high-octane theatre.
So I'm stoked to have like such a best podium we had in a long time, you know. Against Mitu and Matchu, I was in the third and Matchu won, Mitu second. Super stoked to have to share the podium with them. We've been stoked with this since we were a kid, and that's finally a dream come true. And yeah, I'm super stoked with my result. I mean, the season is still long ahead, so I'm gonna do all my best to come on top. And this was the event. Cape Verde, thank you so much. Thank you to all the people for cheering for us. The crowd was going mad, so yeah, thank you again, guys. Thanks.
The dream final, Cape Verde heroes battling it out on home waters. The legend Mitu Monteiro coming out of retirement to show that he's still got it, up against his youthful protege, Matchu Lopes. Both know the Ponta Preta break like the back of their hand, and what a show they put on for their adoring fans.
Well, after a few years, when I stopped compete, so it's really nice to be here. I got this podium. Actually, you know, when I decided to compete, like I say, it was for my family and also for all my friends here in Cape Verde, because we have a party here. Why not to be part of it? Then, second here, I had a podium. I have a chance to have a podium with Matchu and Airton. So for me, this is a dream come true, because then I have all this support from Cape Verde. So I'm really stoked about my result.
The youngster Lopes showed he had what it took to face down the master. He didn't crack under the pressure from fans or even his old friend and hero. Riding backside, he charged every wave to take what was an emotional win.
I'm absolutely stoked to finish here in the first place, and then going on a heat with Mitu, which is somebody that I admire so much since I was a kid. I'm talking since I'm 5th or 6th. I was always behind him, always wanted to do like him, and then I changed my mind. I said, okay, I want to be like him. I want to travel the world. I want to be world champion. I want to do this. And then going to hit with him here, it's priceless. Unfortunately, the wind and the waves weren't there exactly, but I did my job. I'm the first one, goofy footer, backside rider, ever getting a win here. So this has no price. This is priceless. This is just God know right now. I don't even know.
What an event, what a country, and what a wave. From start to finish, we had epic battles in perfect waves, while the crowd went wild. In the end, we saw 3 Cape Verdeans, Matchu Lopes, Mitu Monteiro and Airton Cozzolino dominate the men's podium. The emotion of the winners was raw. The emotion among the fans was huge. This is what Cape Verde is all about: soul. We saw Moona White return to Ponta Preta after 4 years to take the win. The Hawaiian showed she lost none of her competitive fire. This time, she got the better of her young rival, Capucine Delanoy. As much as any of them though, Cape Verde was the winner. Once again it delivered legendary waves and steady breezes that were the perfect stage for the sporting drama. We can't wait to return to Ponta Preta next year.